just me realizing that I'm gonna have all of you in one place at once, and you can listen to me talk about how I feel. I'm more lucky than any of you know. I don't think anybody realizes. Maybe Kale does. To be able to do this with my best friend and my other best friend, it's not even fair. And so I'm sorry that y'all won't get to do this. It's really been fantastic. So thank you all for coming and all the things that you expect me to say. But what I did prepare to say, I'll just say, and I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to try to make eye contact with anyone. I just have some things I need to say, and I'm just going to read them to you. So, as this goes, I hope you get a glimpse of what I've come to realize, that I have a life full of compassionate people, and it's awesome. One thing the four of us have encountered since the inception of the double wedding idea was the confused look on the people's faces when we made our plans known to them. The one that I got the most from like my male co-workers was, "Oh, your fiance is cool with that? My wife would never have shared her day with anybody." So that was kind of a weird thing for people to keep saying to me, and I thought, like, is there any validity to what these people are saying? Like, do all of these hypothetical wives we speak of have a reason to feel that way? So I don't know, but the dialogue between the four of us early this year about doing this really was matter of course from the get-go. There's really nothing I can say in a short amount of time that could explain why it made sense. Everything I've thought of seems like speculation or anecdotal. Maybe it's that both of these girls are of many siblings. With a handful of siblings, sharing means survival. Sharing means comfort. Most of the time it means that it's the only way you're going to get to enjoy anything at all. We all grew up rarely enjoying things alone. Today is no exception. We're conditioned for what makes us happy to be shared with someone. That's how it's been since day one for all of us. I can confidently speak for all four of us when I say we're absolutely thrilled, and we wouldn't have it any other way. The truth is, and it didn't dawn on me the significance and the unconventionalness of sharing this day until I faced that question over and over again. We're taught from infancy that sharing is a sacrifice or a chore, like cleaning your room or minding your manners. With that mindset, these men continue to ask me, how could it be that your wife would agree to a double wedding? And I have a good answer, and it's by being a great person with a huge heart and an open mind. By being exactly the kind of person that I want to marry. Is everyone So to all those men, none of them are here, whose wives wouldn't have been willing to share their special day. They probably just weren't lucky enough to have a chance to do it. And I feel sorry for them because my wife is a lot cooler than they. So Becca shares with Sarah, Kale, and me because she understands that it's more fun this way. She trained for 18 years in the cruise home, learning to be the best sharer there ever was. And I can't tell you how happy I am to be the one who benefits the most for it. So here's to sharing the rest of my life with Becca. Jack and Diane. Speaking of the cruise home, I have a big new family that I'm very excited about. Big in quantity and height, Comparatively. They're not new, though. They're not new to me. They've treated me like family since before I even met them. That's compassion. Would a normal Southern Baptist couple allow their youngest daughter to travel around Europe with some long-haired hippie boy she met? One they've never even met? One back from living in Big Bend as a river guide desert rat? A normal couple probably wouldn't. But if you're Jack and Diane Cruz, maybe you do. Maybe you weren't totally happy about it, but they did. And that boy she was running around Europe with let her run out of money. And pretty soon I was leaving Becca to fend for herself in a Muslim country so that I could go hiking. We were sleeping on the street in Spain, but don't worry, I know a Dutch family who will take care of us. We just have to find a way to get to the Netherlands. So when Becca came home and I knew they would find out about all of this, I assumed that I had been judged. And I wasn't, but I felt like I deserved to be. So not long after our trip, I did meet Becca's parents and I was nervous. I tried to imagine what they imagined I was. I anticipated bad vibes. But to my surprise, they invited me on a ski trip instead. No judgment at all. Smiles and hospitality, and that was it. That was it for me. Becca demonstrated a lot of true grit, street smarts, and fearlessness on that trip, and I loved her. Her parents opened their arms of their family when they shouldn't have, and for real, that was it for me. I was done. I'm staying here. So Jack, Diane, your family is remarkable, and here's to you for creating and sustaining the environment that brought about my best friend in the world. Cheers. It's like,
what you got, Kale?
Sarah.
I'm gonna use it. Well, even if I did, I'm not gonna say it now.
Sarah. For those of you who don't know Sarah very well, I'm gonna speak on her behalf. She loves you. Even if she doesn't know you, she loves you because her compassion is instinctive and intuitive. And this is the reason I feel like I'm just surrounded by all these compassionate people, and I have a hard time being like these people who are my role models. She's got my mother's good nature, my father's zen. It's a really weird zen. But if you know my dad, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're a Buddhist, you're probably offended that I just used zen and my dad in the same sentence. Sarah and I have been close friends, and not just like siblings, but like close friends. And I don't really recall ever fighting with Sarah as a child. Maybe once in my whole life, maybe. And so I don't remember it. Maybe twice.
You chased with knives a couple times.
Yeah, well, I'm not. So how is it that two siblings so close in age never fought? I don't attribute the peace that we had to my own character. Once, when I was about 7 years old, Sarah did something that to even the 7-year-old me seemed prodigious. We lived in Beaumont until I was about 9. Sarah was about 11 when we moved. But from what I remember, there were children in about every house on the block we lived on, and we spent a lot of time playing with the neighborhood kids. And if you remember being 7, you know that there's like a world of difference between you and a 9-year-old. Like 9-year-olds are big kids, and you were like, you didn't know what's going on. Like, let me get some advice from a 9-year-old. 9-year-olds. So I was probably about 7, unfortunately, because on that day, the 9-year-olds were going to play a game, and I think it was street hockey. Sarah and I were planning on playing with them, all the neighborhood kids we always played with. some of these 9-year-olds hollered at me that I was too little to play, and only the big kids were going to play that day, because I was only 7.5, and they insisted that Sarah stay and play, and Sarah said, if he can't play, then I'm not playing either. And we turned to walk home, and one of the boys changed his mind and said, no, never mind, he can play too, but it was too late by that point. And we might not have said a word on the walk home, but that same spirit in that 9-year-old girl is standing right there. That disdain, absolute disdain for judgment and or inequality has remained with her. She couldn't escape it if she wanted to. So, Kale, Sarah is my hero, and you get to marry my hero. And I can guarantee you that she will never leave you. Not even for a game of street hockey. So here's to you both and your uncompromising commitment. Mom?
Behind you!
Do you ever wonder why I gave you so much trouble? I don't think I ever gave you trouble like in person, but all the trouble I got into gave you trouble. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't be a good kid. I'm still not. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I always have to see how much I can get away with and try to explain to everyone why the rules don't apply to me. I couldn't be like you. Just another boy in your life to drive you insane. You were just a good kid, Mom, who ended up in a rough crowd. I think you made it. And I thank you for all your passivity, and I try to emulate you in that sense. And I do a bad job most of the time. But at least I have something to strive for. So thank you for your unquestioning, unwavering, and uncompromising motherly love. I've had 24 years of absolute certainty that I had you on standby to encourage, support, and fight for me. That is more than any human could ever ask for. No human would even know to ask for it. They wouldn't even... You even managed to protect me from my own negativity. Not even when I hit rock bottom. I've never come to you with an issue and been worse off after a discussion ever. How is it even possible for you to commiserate with me, who has always gotten himself into predicaments you never get into yourself? I don't know where that understanding comes from. You're great. I love you. It's hard to find words that demonstrate how much your words have meant in my life.
Sam, do you need a drink, man?
I'm halfway. So we're gonna shift gears, and I'm gonna talk to my dad.
Dad's gone.
Dad needs a tissue.
As a child, growing up, you don't know any better. You don't know what's socially acceptable or what's unusual, and that's where my dad really got me. You see, we would take these road trips, just me and him, and looking back on it, I'm like, what were we doing? I went on road trips with him when I was before I was 10, multiple. I still don't have a clue what our destination was or why we went, and anyway. he'd drive me through Big Bend or halfway across the country. He'd ramble about geological formations for hours. To me, at like 8 years old. He'd talk about the chemistry of water treatment, and he'd make what were probably crazy predictions about the future of America. He'd tell me the subliminal meanings of biblical prophecies. He'd park in no parking zones, break rules, and he'd make us Spam sandwiches with American cheese and mayonnaise, and deliberately leave them on the dashboard of the car in West Texas sun for hours and hours to make what Becca would probably call danger zones as far as food safety. But that was the way he liked them. And I was a kid who didn't know any better. And I liked him too. He would take a bite and say, "Oh, it's just like an oven roasted sandwich." So earlier when I talked about the zen of my father, that's what I'm talking about. To take that danger zone sandwich and taste a fresh oven roasted deli grade sandwich. My dad always tastes the deli grade sandwich. Usually it's only him though. He hates to see other people not doing the best for themselves, and he gives himself the worst and tells everybody that he's the happiest, luckiest man on the planet, and he probably is. But Dad, thank you for those road trips. Thank you for fighting back with me when I was an asshole. Thanks for all those don't tell mom moments. And thank you for the weirdness and not teaching me but again conditioning me to believe that it's okay to be strange. You never told me it was okay to be strange, but you were. And that's how kids learn. This is not about being weird, it's about doing what you want and not worrying about what other people think of you. So thank you. I am your wayward son. That capriciousness, which I have part inherited, part learned from you, has taken me some very interesting places, and I cherish all of it, both the suffering and the enlightenment. So here's to the dashboard warm danger zone Spam sandwich.
Electricity. Electric words.
At some point, you probably wish you had someone to talk to about how much undue grief I caused.
He spoke for them.
My mom would probably be a good start. I think we're a good pair, and I think everyone agrees. I love being nerds together. I love going to H-E-B on Saturday nights, maybe stopping for a chicken taco if we're feeling crazy. I even like that we don't really have any pictures together because we're both always too distracted to take the time to snap photos. But I think we've taken a lot of pictures today to make up for it. Here's to my wife.
Folks, just a point of order, if you could pass any tissues that you have. Phenomenal, very helpful.
Does anybody have a pocket square? Taylor, where are you? Where's the pocket square? Pass it around. Put it to good use.
Emily's balling over there.
People are crying.
Hey, wife, it's okay. It's just Emily. Emily's all over it.